The flowers arrived on a Tuesday morning, quiet and innocent, their white petals still holding the chill of dawn. I remember pausing in the doorway of the office, coffee cooling in my hand, because something felt different, like the air itself was holding its breath. People say life changes with a bang, but mine began with a whisper, with a small card tucked between lilies that read, "You deserve to be noticed." I smiled, not knowing that those simple words would pull a hidden thread and unravel everything I believed about myself, my work, and the woman who had never once looked my way, until now. I had worked there for 3 years, long enough to become invisible in the most efficient way possible. I was the one who stayed late without being asked, fixed mistakes before they were discovered, and knew the rhythm of the company better than my own heartbeat. My CEO walked past my desk every day, heels sharp against marble, eyes fixed forward like she was chasing something always just out of reach. To her, I was part of the background, reliable, silent, replaceable. Or so I thought. When I placed the flowers on my desk, a soft blush creeping into my cheeks as coworkers whispered and smiled, I didn't notice her standing at the end of the hallway, staring. That was my first mistake, believing attention was harmless. By noon, the office buzzed with curiosity. Who sent them? A secret admirer? A client? Someone from another department? I shrugged off the questions, half embarrassed, half warmed by the idea that someone had seen me, really seen me. For the first time in years, I felt lighter, like maybe I existed beyond spreadsheets and deadlines. That feeling lasted exactly until I heard my name spoken in a sharp, clipped tone I'd never heard before. She stood beside my desk, close enough that I could smell her perfume, clean, expensive, controlled. Her eyes weren't curious. They were burning. "Who sent these?" she asked. I swallowed. "I don't know." Her jaw tightened, and for a moment, the entire office seemed to freeze. She nodded once, curt and final. "Remove them. This is a workplace, not a dating service." The silence afterward was loud, humiliating. I nodded, hands trembling as I lifted the vase and carried it to the break room, petals shaking like they were afraid to. As I returned to my desk, my chest heavy with something between shame and anger, I wondered why it hurt so much. I'd never expected kindness from her, so why did her disapproval feel personal? The rest of the day crawled. Every email she sent was colder than usual, every glance sharper. By evening, I realized something terrifying. She wasn't just annoyed. She was jealous. And I couldn't understand why. I went home that night replaying every moment, every look. Somewhere between doubt and exhaustion, a question formed that wouldn't let me sleep. What if I had been wrong about being invisible all along? The next morning, another hook waited for me, hidden in plain sight. The flowers were back, this time replaced with a single note on my desk: "Don't let anyone make you small." My heart raced, not with romance, but with courage. I straightened my shoulders, unaware that across the room, she was watching again, this time not with anger alone, but something far more dangerous: realization. She called me into her office before lunch. The door closed behind me with a soft click that echoed too loudly. She didn't ask me to sit. She circled her desk slowly, like she was choosing her words, or her weapon. "You've changed," she said. I laughed nervously. "I don't think so." She stopped in front of me. "You're wrong. You're standing taller. Smiling more. Distracted." Distracted. The word stung. "I'm still doing my job." "I know," she snapped, then caught herself. Silence stretched between us, thick and fragile. Finally, she sighed, the edge in her voice cracking. "Whoever is doing this, they're crossing a line." Something inside me snapped, not loudly, but cleanly. "With respect," I said, my voice steady despite my shaking hands, "my life doesn't end at this desk." Her eyes widened, not with fury, but shock. For the first time, she really looked at me, not the role I filled, not the work I produced, but me. The realization hit her like a mirror she hadn't known was there. I saw it then. Her jealousy wasn't about the flowers. It was about the attention I'd never demanded, the confidence she assumed I didn't have, the spark she'd ignored because it didn't fit her narrative of who I was allowed to be. I left her office feeling lighter than I ever had, even without flowers on my desk. The days that followed were strange. She began asking my opinion in meetings. Listening. Watching. And slowly, painfully, she started to unravel, not in anger, but honesty. One evening, Long after everyone had gone home, she stopped by my desk. I never noticed you, she admitted quietly. Because if I had, I would have had to admit how lonely I am. The confession hung between us, raw and real. I understood then that her rage had been fear of losing control, of wanting something she couldn't schedule or command. I don't need flowers, I said softly. I just need respect. She nodded, eyes glossy. I can give you that. And she did. By the time I finally learned who had sent the flowers, a former intern who said I'd once defended her when no one else would, the mystery felt less important than the lesson it left behind. Being noticed isn't about grand gestures. It's about standing in your truth long enough that even those who overlook you are forced to see. I kept the last note pinned inside my drawer, not as a reminder of romance, but of worth. Because sometimes, the moment you stop shrinking is the moment the world reveals who it truly is. And if you're listening to this wondering when your moment will come, maybe it already has. Maybe all it needs is the courage to accept that you were never invisible at all.